Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. I made a video yesterday about the relationship, the deal, the partnership, however you want to phrase it, between Ben Shalom's BOXXER and the BBC, which was announced a couple of days ago. And there was a very interesting article on the Boxing News website, Boxing News, the trade paper, written by Oscar Pick. And he was discussing this partnership between Shalom and the BBC. And he cited 8 fights that will possibly be on the BBC. And the first one I should mention is one that I think has actually been confirmed, which is Fraser Clark versus Jamie TKV, and that's for the vacant British title, the Lonsdale belt. We know about Fraser, Olympic bronze medalist, got a draw with Fabio Wardley in a great fight, then got blown away in one round in the rematch, has come back with a one-round blowout of Ebenezer Tete, who is, 37 going on 84, however old he is. And, Jamie TKV, controversially beaten by Adelaide, late punch and all that. Don't punch on the break. Why follow the rules? Bang. Jamie TKV's on the floor, and Adelaide walked away with the vacant British title. Well, Adelaide has decided he's going to fight Filip Hrgović. Good luck with that. Be careful what you wish for, etc. And I think it's Fraser Clark, Jamie TKV. I see Jamie as being maybe English level, Fraser British level, possibly European level. I think he probably is European level. World level, I'm not too sure about that, but I would make Fraser a hot favourite in that fight. But you never know. Jamie, he's very rudimentary, but he does, he hangs in there. He's got some guts. He's got some willing, so we'll see. But the other fights, there were 8 that were listed. The other fights some of them were really quite attractive. Ben Whitaker against Dan Aziz. Now, I think that's a good matchup. We know about Ben Whitaker. We know what he is. A silver medalist at the Olympics. He had that 2-fight thing going on. And he kind of put it right, didn't he? He wronged the right with the victory over I can't remember his bloody name. Fuck me. Oh, I hate getting older. All the names fall out of your fucking ears. I think all the files in your mental computer get deleted. But he had those 2 fights with you'll tell me his name in the comments, I'm sure. And he kind of rectified the wrong, because there was that fast with him going over the top rope, and then he kind of quit. And then in the second round, he blew away the opponent in 2 rounds. So, that's good stuff. That's good. He's back on track, shall we say. But Aziz has got 2 defeats in his record. He's got 21 wins with 13 KOs. Not the biggest punch. He's got 2 defeats. They're both on points. One was a couple of fights ago to Lewis Edmondson. That was a very close fight. He lost a majority decision. Very, very competitive fight. And then I think he got a draw in a very, very underwhelming performance against a guy called Sepp, I think his name was. And that was just an 8-round draw. I thought he was lucky to escape with a draw there. And prior to that, he lost a unanimous decision to Joshua Buatsi, and I think it was wide. He made it competitive. He made it a row for Buatsi, but he did lose that fight. And Aziz, so you could say, put him in with Whitaker. It's a good fight. I think nothing wrong with the matchup, but he would start as an underdog against the in-form Whitaker. Also, bear in mind that Dan Aziz is 35 now. And he started quite late. He turned pro in 2017, which would mean he was 27 when he turned pro. Not ancient, but relatively late. But with those 2 defeats, and they were for the British and Commonwealth belts, he did win the EBU title, by the way. And he has actually held the British and Commonwealth belts previously. But it was a big step back, those 2 defeats recently. But put him in with Whitaker, I'd watch that. Yeah, I'd watch that. Then we got Vito Riley against Jack Massie. That's the next one that gets mentioned. Vito Riley, undefeated in 13, 7 KOs, not the biggest banger. 28 years of age. Got a good win over Chev Clark recently. Was it April, May, sometime like that this year? Has good win over Mikhail Lawal. Yeah, he's done. He's in form, undefeated, obviously, and the idea of him against Jack Massie, I think, is pretty good. Massie came up short against Jaya Pattaya, no shame there. You know, by the way, Liam Cameron was the guy I was trying to think of. It finally came into my head. Liam Cameron, yeah, he was the guy who fought Ben Whitaker in the 2-fight little thing. All right. Anyway, getting back to Vito O'Reilly, yeah, 13 wins, undefeated. He's still only 28. He's got time, so good win over Chev Clark. Probably is, and Mikhail Lawal was a good win, but you know, he's ready to step up. And Jack Massie came up short against Jaya Pattaya, but was on a good little winning run. I'd say Jack Massie is a good European level fighter out of his depth against Pattaya, but don't forget Jack Massie went the distance with a comeback in Joseph Parker. That looks all right on your record, doesn't it? Go the full 10, and he made it competitive for Parker. And he's also got some good wins. So yeah, Vito O'Reilly and Jack Massie, good matchup. Yeah, I'd watch that. Then we got Callum Simpson and Kevin Leila Sajo. Now, Mr. Simpson and Monsieur Sajo are both undefeated. Simpson is 18 wins and 13 KOs, I think, no draws, no defeats. He's 28 years of age. He's a Barnsley lad from Yorkshire, and he had that shootout, which is a very, very overlooked fight because it clash with I think it clashed with Ben Eubank, or that Sky card was on the same time as one of those big blockbusters. It might have been Ben versus Eubank, and the fight that Simpson had with Ivan Zuko, who was undefeated in 21, was a right old shootout. That was for the EBU title. It was won in the 10th round by Simpson, but he was on the floor in the first round and the third round. Go and have a look at that fight if you haven't seen it. It's entertaining. It's very, very good fight. And yeah, excuse me, Simpson on a roll. You know, he's beaten good men. I mean, he blew away Steedwood all in 2 rounds. That was a good win. He's beaten Zach Chelly on points. Yeah, he's rocking and rolling. I mean, no doubt about it. But let's not forget Kevin Sajo, 35 years of age, so he's knocking on a little bit. 25 wins with 22 KOs, no draws, no defeats. And he's a threat. He has held the EBU super middleweight title himself, the one that Simpson now has. And he's based in France. I think he's from Cameroon originally, but he'll come to win. He'll come to win wherever that is. And that is a very, very attractive matchup, especially on the back of Simpson looking a little bit vulnerable against Zuko at times. Then there's Lauren Price versus Michaela Mayer. Lauren is flying. She's probably at the height of her powers. Michaela moved up from super feather to welterweight. Beat Sandy Ryan a couple of times. First time was very, very close. Second time I thought she won it. That'll be a good fight. Unification. Yeah. I know Michaela's got the WBO, hasn't she? And is it the IBF or WBC that Lauren's got, or whatever it is? It'll be a unification. And talking of the ladies, Caroline Dubois versus Terry Harper. That's been sort of brewing for a little while. Yep, that'll be a good one. Caroline is probably one of BOXXER's big success stories. She's a champion at lightweight. You've also got Beatrice Ferreira and Stephanie Hahn who've got belts. So this is a hot division for the ladies, lightweights. But Terry Harper, very rare for Terry. She's very sort of unassuming, but she's got a few things to say about Caroline. Caroline could be a little bit prickly. So Harper has joined MVP Promotions, Jake Paul's outfit, who are signing up all the female talent. I see that as being that's a good fight. That's a good fight, I think. I would make Caroline a strong favourite. But yeah, I can see that happening. I can see that as being a very entertaining fight. Then you've got Adam Azim, another BOXXER success story, has been EBU champ, against Sandor Martin. Now, I think this is a difficult fight for Azim, because Martin has got 42 wins with only 15 KOs. He don't hit hard, doesn't try to hit hard. He's got 4 defeats, and they've all been on points. This is a Spanish fighter. He's 31 now. Very, very skillful guy. Very tricky, crafty guy. And 4 fights ago, he gave Teofimo Lopez a right lesson. I thought he won that fight, and Lopez got the verdict. It was a split decision. I did not agree with that decision. I thought Sandor Martin won it. In his last fight, he lost another split decision. This was to Albert Puello. Now, the thing about Lopez and Puello is they're both extremely, I mean, they're different styles, but they're both extremely good. They're extremely tricky, skilled stylists. Puello especially. I'm someone who thought Puello beat Subriel Mateus. I'm in the minority there, but I do think he edged that fight. So Martin has lost 2 split decisions to very, very good men. Never been stopped. He lost a 12-rounder to Anthony Yigit. That was when Yigit was undefeated. That was about 8 years ago. And he's a good fighter, Martin. And putting him in with Adam Aziz, who he looked okay. You know, Adam Aziz looked pretty good against Sergei Lipinets, although Lipinets has certainly seen better days. But he did stop him. I think he's kind of growing into his man strength, growing towards his prime, Azim. But would he have enough to beat Sandor Martin? I don't know. You know, I would think Martin might win that fight. Another one is back to the heavyweights, Martin Bakoli and Michael Hunter. Now, we know about Bakoli. No need to talk about him because we know about him. We know about the saga in Riyadh when he came over at not the 11th hour, more like the 1 minute to 12 hour. And yeah, he is what he is. He got a draw with F.A. Jagborough. Getting into shape seems to be nigh on impossible for him. He always weighs about 290, 300 pounds, whatever. Ridiculously heavy. But when he's on it, he's on it. And in Michael Hunter, he's got someone whose career petered out. I mean, it really did. He got a disputed draw with Alexander Povetkin. That was 6 years ago now, 2019, and since then, nothing. He's fought, you know, guys with, a couple of them have got good, you know, decent records like Cassius Chaney and Mike Wilson, but those are, you know, C-level, C-plus fighters. And Hunter went from being one of the guys that gave Alexander Usyk a good fight at cruiserweight and also stopped Bakoli and got a disputed draw with Povetkin to being completely out in the wilderness. I believe he's connected to Don King. Good luck with that. Okay, now, does he even get paid for those fights? He might get the little IOUs with deductions for expenses. But yeah, like I say, he's beaten also Rands. In the middle of it was a draw with Jerry Forrest, who he previously beat. Jerry Forrest is a pretty good fighter, you know. There's a split draw, and I thought Forrest won that fight. But hey. So those are I think, was that all of them? Those are the 8 fights that Oscar Pick mentioned, or potential fights that Oscar Pick mentioned in his article on Boxing News. And I don't really see a bad fight amongst them. Now, can these fights be made financially? Because the relationship between BOXXER and the BBC, we don't know the details of it yet. We know that the main events, the main card, if you like, will be shown on terrestrial television, and that undercard fights and behind-the-scenes stuff and all the build-up will be on iPlayer, much in the same way that people use YouTube. I mean, people have said, oh, what's it on iPlayer for? Well, there's no difference really to doing it on YouTube. Well, I suppose there is a difference in that with the BBC you need a license. You know, you're supposed to have a license anyway. So it's not entirely free, of course. Nothing on the BBC is. But I think they're good fights. If they can be made, if the numbers can be crunched and the money's there, those are 8 pretty good fights, I think. Covering, you know, different weights, both genders. You know, it looks good. It looks good. So a lot of people have been down on this idea with boxing back on the Beeb. And this is really a follow-up to my previous video where I pointed out that, yes, boxing hasn't been on the Beeb. Professional boxing hasn't been on the Beeb for 20 years, 2005. And also, but the BBC were the first platform to ever have boxing on television, which was in 1938. So a long, long time ago. I think this is an intriguing, very welcome, very promising matchup with BOXXER and the BBC. It won't be on every week, but you got to give Shalom some credit for hanging in the game, because his options were limited, and he has had a lot of criticism as a very young, inexperienced promoter. A lot of that criticism has been deserved, but he's hanging in the game, he's learning from mistakes, and if he provides us with yet more good boxing on a new platform, what could be wrong with that? What could be bad about that? I don't understand a lot of the people who almost delight in a promoter and his stable of fighters suddenly find themselves without work or without a platform. That seems like a very foolish, short-sighted, rather infantile, childish, bitter sort of attitude to have. So yeah, let me know what you think. What is your opinion on this? Do you like those fights that I mentioned? Which ones stand out for you? Which ones have not been mentioned? Let me know. Usual comments below. Please, if you did enjoy this video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel and spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. Good on you. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your weekend. I'm going to enjoy my weekend by doing virtually nothing. You never need an excuse to do nothing, do you? Come on. All right, looking forward to reading your comments. Bye for now.